Things are not looking good for Toronto condo market. Supply is all-time high and demand is not that strong. In today's video, I'm going to deep dive into numbers that will show you which condos are selling and which condos are having a hard time selling in this market. And also this video is part of a collaboration with top real estate YouTubers all across North America. So if you want to know what's happening in different markets all across North America, please check out the links mentioned in the description below. And if you got any questions about real estate, you can book a call with me by clicking on the first link mentioned in the description below. All right, so here's the data showing you the condos which were sold, the total amount of condos which were sold this year in whole of Toronto, that is 416 area. Just for reference, 416 area is going to be this south of Steeles to east of Peel region to west of Durham. So this area we're going to talk about, that is 416 area. Now if I go back to the chart over here, if you see there were just over 5,000 condos which were sold this year. And if we break down the data, the maximum amount of condos which were sold were 2 bedrooms. That's 30% of all the sold condos were 2 bedrooms, and the least amount of condos were 4 bedrooms. And also, if you see, notice one thing: the studios are also not selling. We have many studios in the city, but only 1.5 or only 76 studios were sold this year. On the flip side, 4 bedrooms were only 47. But in reality, we don't have many 4 bedrooms supply or inventory available in the city of Toronto. So that's interesting fact. And if you see, what the second highest point was 1+10s, they are still moving, and 1 bedrooms, they are also kind of taking time to sell, so they're not selling. So the narrative or the idea we're getting from this data is that the bigger or the spacious units are still selling, as opposed to smaller or small condos. They are taking time to sell, or they're not even selling. They're sitting on the market for the longest time. Now let's move on to the next data showing you the condo sales by unit size in city of Toronto since the beginning of this year to May of 2025. And you can see between the size of 0 to 499, basically smaller condos, only 269 condos were sold this year. And between the size of 500 to 599, they were 658. And between the size of 600 to 699, they were 827. So in this category, the 1+10s and 2 bedrooms, a few 2 bedrooms also fits in. So they were the highest number of condos were sold between the size of 600 to 699. And if I straight away jump to the size of 1,000 to 1,200 square feet, that is 706. That's in this category. We see bigger 2 bedrooms and 2+10s. So so this goes to show the bigger condos are selling in the city, and 1+10s are also selling in the city, as opposed to smaller condos or massive condos, that is 1,200 square feet to 1,800 square feet. Those are selling less, and to be fair, the supply of these are also less. And at the same time, the price point of this category, that is between the size of 1,200 to 1,800 square feet, the price point also goes up. So at this point, the consumer or the people tend to buy freehold properties as opposed to condos. Now let's zoom into the downtown core and see what's happening over there. Downtown, I'm looking at says CO1 and CO8 area. So that's the downtown core. Let me quickly show you the data over there. So CO1 and CO8 is going to be this area, that's CO1 and CO8, this area we're going to talk about. So let's go back to the chart, and in this data point, if we see in downtown Toronto, again 1+10s are selling the most, that is 497, and the least amounts are 4 bedrooms, because we don't have many 4 bedrooms, and the price point of these are also pretty high. So that's why not many sales happen in this category or 4 bedroom category. And if you notice, studios, they are not moving. We have tons of studios in the city, but they are not selling. They're just 50 condos were sold in downtown Toronto since the beginning of this year. That is unprecedented. And if you see 1 beds, 382 were sold. For 1+10s, as I said, 497, and 2 bedrooms are 406. So 1+10s and 2 bedrooms, they are moving in the city. And if I just do analysis by the unit size, so between the size of 500 to 599 were 314, and the highest category is between the size of 600 to 699, that is 333 condos were sold. And in this category, we mainly find 1+10s and few 2 bedrooms here and there as well. So now if you're someone who's watching this video, is a small condo owner or a studio condo owner, and you're getting worried, my recommendation would be, if your situation allows, hold on to your condo and not sell it in today's time. Because I want to show you one more data point, that is month of inventory for downtown Toronto rentals for the month of 2025. And for studios, we see we are still shy of 2 months of inventory. So you will not have a problem renting out your condos in today's time too. All the rents have come down, but they are still moving. So this is the median price you can see on the chart for each property type or each condo type. And you can rent out your studio for about like $1,800 to $1,900, give or take. One bedrooms we're looking at 2,200. One plus dens at 2,350 to 2,400, depending from location and building to building. Two bedrooms we're looking at is 2,600 to 2,800, and three bedrooms the median price we're looking at is 3,700. So as a condo owner, I would rent out your condo, if your studio condo or a smaller condo in today's time, and you can ride out the uncertain times for now. And if on the flip side, if you're a buyer in this market, there are going to be tons of opportunities for you. So I would look out for those opportunities. Now let's move on to the next chart. That is, I'm going to run a condo occupancy analysis just for downtown Toronto. And as of today in downtown Toronto, there are 3,007 condos which are currently listed for sale. So as I said, for buyers, there are tons of options. So out of those total 3,007 condos, 768 condos are tenanted properties. These are basically owned by investors and they're rented out to someone and they're trying to offload these condos. Investors are trying to offload these condos. That's 25%. And 44% of the total condos which are currently listed are vacant properties. So in my opinion, what I see by working on the ground level and what I can anticipate is that out of these total amount of condos listed of 1,345, at least 50 to 60% are going to be investors, are owned by investors. Reason being because we don't see, as of in today's time, we're not seeing many people who are not selling their condo first and then buying their next property. So typically units are being left vacant are usually owned by investors. That's what we see in the market. So in total, I would say about like 50 to 60% of the total condos which are currently listed are owned by investors. That's the point I'm trying to make over here. And 833 condos of the total condos are currently listed by owner occupied. This basically means the owners are actually living in those and they're trying to offload these condos. And the last category is owner and tenanted, where the owner is living with a tenanted, basically shared space, and that's just 1% of the total condos which are currently listed onto the market. And I'm going on to the next chart or the next analysis, where I'm going to do a sole condo occupancy analysis just for downtown Toronto. So, and this data is from the beginning of this year up till May. And so the total condos which were sold this year were 1616, and out of those, only 11% or just shy of 12% were sold were tenanted properties. So this goes to show that tenanted properties are not selling, or basically they're hard to sell. Typically, they're hard to sell with a property with a tenant, and 51% were vacant properties, and 35% were owner-occupied properties. So properties which are vacant and owner-occupied, they are easy to sell. This data is showing us. And the last category is owner and tenanted. That's only 1.2%. Okay. So now I'm going to move on to the next chart. This is the trend line of benchmark prices just for condos in whole of Toronto area. And this chart is from 2020 to 2025. And if we see, the prices have more or less remained flat from 2019. They have not remained flat. They have gone through ups and downs, but eventually they have come down to end of 2019 to beginning of 2020 levels. So in the March of 2020, this is where the pandemic hit, and we can see the downward pressure onto the prices. And then the next is by end of 2020, and by end of 2020, yes, that's where the vaccines announcement came out, and then the condos started appreciating again. And by the March of 2022, then when we had the ultra low interest rates, and this is where the market peaked, the prices went up. The average price point for condos in Toronto went up to $746,000. And then this is where the Bank of Canada stepped in. They reduced multiple interest rate hikes, and we can see a pretty significant downward pressure onto the prices. And in 2023, again, we saw an uptick in the prices. This is where the Silicon Valley Bank collapse happened, and the bond yields came down, pretty low fixed interest rates, and that's why, due to that, the demand was increased, and we saw a upward pressure onto the prices. And this is where in the month of June, July, basically summer of 2023, Bank of Canada again stepped in. They introduced they increased the interest rate by twice, by 25 basis points each. And since then, we have seen a downward pressure onto the prices, and the combination of tariff chaos and all that has put a downward pressure onto the prices. So if you notice, the prices have come down to 2019 or 2020 level. So that's what we're seeing. And going forward, how it's going to play out, we'll have to see. So many variables come into play, but I don't think so we're going to see any major upward pressure going forward. We might see slight downward pressure. We'll have to see how things pan out, but I don't think so we'll see any price growth for the next, I would say, 3 to 4 months or 6 months from now. I do not think so, because there's so much supply of condos in the market that needs to be absorbed by the consumer in the market. So what does it mean if you're a buyer in this market? If you're someone who has a stable job and you're looking to play a long-term game in real estate, that is, you're looking to buy and hold real estate for like, let's say 5, 7, 10 years, then it makes sense for you to enter the market because there's going to be tons of opportunities for you in the marketplace right now. And if what does it mean if you're a seller in this market? I think this is not the best time for you to sell the property. So if your situation allows to hold on to your real estate, I would do so. But if you really want to, but if you have to sell your real estate or your property, then you have to price it correctly. You cannot you cannot have unrealistic expectations. I'll be straight up. You have to price the property well. You have to outbid the competition or the current listings to get your property sold. Third, right now, the market conditions, there's a lot of uncertainty and instability in the market. I'll be honest with you. And that's primarily because of there's so much trade deal chaos or tariff chaos, whatever you want to call it. So once that gets sorted out, I think a lot of buyers who are sitting on the sidelines, they will slowly and gradually start entering the market. And then I think the market condition in real estate will also start to become better or propel in a positive manner. So yeah, that's pretty much for today. I hope I was able to give you some value and some insights. If you found any insights valuable, then please hit that like button, and also please do subscribe to the channel. It really helps a small channel like mine to grow. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.